I have never been able to do
I
that.
was impressive with that. And now I'm like, that's the guy with the thing. And he started the thing on the thing.
And we go, that's, yep, yep.
And he was on the,
Yeah, we know we recognize that.
right.
We're not sure why. Hello,
Hi,
I'm Adam,
I'm Tina.
and we're Brewing Theater. So, what's in the pot today?
Pumpkin spice latte.
Not that pot.
Oh,
You've been
mean
smoking the pot.
The theatrical
The theatrical pot. Yes, yes.
What we're brewing in theater.
What we're brewing up.
We're going to talk about Anastasia, which is a good ways away, but I'm already starting to work on it. I've got my designers, Jameson Sanford, who's designing the set, and Darren Eber, who is designing the lights, and Jeanette, and I've already started talking about things. So
Yes. Now, I'm excited that Jameson's coming back.
Yeah.
Because Jameson is a local Tuscaloosa person
Lives in Chicago
has
now.
gone off and become a professional out in the world. It's so much fun to see these people grow up and do amazingly well. Wasn't he in the Secret Garden the first year I started here?
He was, and he was in camp
Yeah.
when he was a mere child. I mean, he literally was a child actor and with us and TCT, and now it's all
Seeing
grown
him
up.
grow up, but he is such a talented scenic designer.
So he's lovely, and he's already like, I can't wait to hear what your take is. And I'm like, hold on, Nellie. I gotta, I've got to figure out.
Slow your roll.
So, it's not a take. It's an interpretation. It's a point of view.
It's your directorial vision for the show.
Right.
I mean, every show comes with parameters, right? You could call them given circumstances. You could give them your textual guideposts, whatever you want to call them. There are certain things that has to happen. Sometimes there's a door somewhere that someone has to slam. Sometimes there's an oven
that
needs a head inserted.
Absolutely.
But whatever it is, those are the things that have to be there.
That's right.
You are also given, with this particular show, historical guideposts.
That is correct.
Because it's based on a real family, real events.
Right.
That then led to these mythical events. But beyond that, you as the director, along with your team, get to make all these fun decisions. And so you get to decide, well, what color is the gown in this scene? How cold is it where they are at this time? How many layers of clothing do they need?
You go to the script, and the script was written by Terrence McNally, who happens to have also written Masterclass. I think we've talked about that.
Yes.
So we're doing 2 Terrence McNally shows this year. But
coincidentally,
you have the book that gives you your given circumstances, but then there is how you interpret that. And for many years, I have chosen to do what I call a great room approach, and that is from Andy Fitch and I've done a lot of work together, and Andy was a big proponent of the great room approach, where you sort of have this real but non-realistic look, and the room becomes different things.
Yes, a background that is, generic enough that with a little bit of set dressing or maybe a couple of props and maybe a costume change, the audience will follow you with their imagination wherever you choose to go. And so an audience member is sitting out there thinking about this. Great room approach is very famous. Hamilton. Right. That set is sort of generic in the background. You got a couple of layers. You got levels, which are important. You got staircases and things that move around and turntables in the floor. But overall, it's one big room where the whole story is told, no matter where they are, when they are.
The great room can be scaffolding, or it can be like Sound of Music, where we actually had stairs. We actually had a realistic looking staircase and house sort of thing, but painted on it were the Alps.
Right.
And then we had back behind, we had a scrim where we had different lighting things that happened that gave different looks. So you had real, and then you had this sort of superimposed kind of artistic thing. And so, and then ragtime, I did something where it was scaffolding and then a rolling piece of stairway and all that kind of stuff. But there were realistic slides behind it. So So I tend to migrate that way because it does make the scene changes easier.
Right.
But I don't always go that way.
It's part of your artistic aesthetic, though, as an artist.
Right. It's just it's an easier way for me to work. But and because Jameson and Theron both studied with Andy, they understand that, and so we do have a shorthand where that is concerned. But at the same time, we're always saying, okay, let's start from scratch. You know, we're not going to assume we're going to do a great room approach. Maybe we'll do a realistic approach. Maybe we'll do a total fantastical approach.
Right.
You know, and the thing about this was based on an animated movie. It is based on real people.
Yes.
We also know that there's been a million stories about Anastasia and whether she was really killed or not, and the Russian Revolution, and you know, there's so many stories that are out there, and many of the rumors have been debunked. But essentially, this is taking real people, real circumstances, and then sort of making up a story. Terrence McMillan sort of makes up a story as he goes along, and then
that's the magic of it.
Right. Coincidentally, the same writers that did the music, same writers that wrote the music for Ragtime, have also written the music for this. Now, I am coming late to this. You know this show and love this show way before I did.
Yes.
So tell me why you pitched it to me.
Well, I love this show because I remember the Anastasia animated movie come out when it came out, and all of the songs in that movie just captivated my imagination. I would sing them all the time. They're very, very much those sort of earworms that get in your ear and that you love singing them. And they're all about going on a journey and remembering the past and all these beautiful themes to the music. And when I heard that we could get the rights to this Broadway adaptation of the show, I thought we've got to really jump on this. You know, one of the things about the Tuscaloosa community, people may or may not realize, we actually have a pretty vibrant theater scene for a community of our size. To have Tuscaloosa Children's Theater, Theater Tuscaloosa, the Actors Charitable Theater, Tuscaloosa Theater Troupe, and the University of Alabama, all producing theater, and Stillman. Not to mention, we have opera and ballet and the symphony. There are so many arts opportunities here. But when it comes to theater, we are constantly competing with the other theaters in town to get the latest and greatest titles. And I had watched one after another kind of get scooped up by some of the other theaters in town, and I thought, this one is ours, because we can really blow this one out of the water. We have the talent, the resources as an established organization, the premier established organization in town.
It's a huge show.
Yeah, it's going to be very expensive to produce, but it's going to be worth it.
It's these Russian turn of the century, 1917-ish to 1920s, 30s.
Yeah, early 20th century.
Fabulous gowns, and so
gorgeous.
It's going to be, and it's big. Everything about it is royal and big, and yet then when she becomes a peasant, Anastasia's lost her memory. And she doesn't know who she is, and so
that's the whole crux of it.
That's this story.
This homeless young woman, not sure who she is. There's a rumor that Anastasia, the princess of the Romanov family, survived the murder of the rest of her family at the hands of the communists. And so maybe it's her.
And so that's kind of the premise, and that's very much one of the rumors of that Anastasia was still alive.
Yes, smuggled out.
So it's an interesting story. It's always going to be an interesting story, whether we really know the truth about it or not.
Right. But it's sort of like the JFK assassination. There's always going to be these rumors. There's always going to be this sort of conspiracy theory that it's more fun to imagine those things than maybe to accept the reality.
And what you're talking about as far as us having to plan, we start thinking about our seasons sometimes years in advance, and so sometimes shows are not available to us
when we want them.
And so because we have to think about things in such an early manner, sometimes that's why we aren't always able to get the rights first, because we've planned way ahead. But we have a friendly competition, I guess. Maybe.
I don't mean to frame it that it's not. I mean, how wonderful. That's a great problem to have in your community, that you have so many artists wanting to do theater, you know, that we're actually jockeying over who gets to do this show.
And again, it's a fairly new show, so which is one of the main reasons why you wanted to do it. And when we picked it, I had not chosen at that point to retire.
Right, for sure.
And I just thought I thought it appealed to a large range of ages, audience-wise, from kids who'd seen the movie, you know, to Disney stuff, to people that may have been actually alive during the 1917. I'm kidding.
Still have a few of those.
Maybe, but no, I mean, there are people that
You're
are
107
that are my age and older that know very well the story of the Romanov family.
Yeah,
and also too, anytime you start talking about Russia, you know, that's always in the news these days.
Right.
And there's always some sort of uproar with America and Russia.
Right.
And so it's interesting to examine the Russian culture. And for me, it's not a political statement at all. But sometimes things like this are going to make statements, and you can take it with it what you will. Like, here we voted today.
Right. Well, to me, the aspect that is interesting about of this story is not the U.S. versus Russia.
Right.
The interesting thing is one of the lines that I think is one of the preeminent, you know, sort of intellectual lines in the play is part of the music, and it's one of the songs, and the line is, "A revolution is a simple thing." But the truth of the matter is, a revolution is a terrifying thing. And that's what I think speaks more to our country and where we are today with all of the fractured nature and the difficulty that we have communicating. To me, this story is a little bit allegorical, a little bit of a warning, you know, that, hey, you have something good, a little misinformation, a little nudge in the wrong direction could lead us down a path that we might all regret.
And, you know, if you're a Romanov, then life was...
it was glorious for you.
For glorious, and then it was horrible.
You were dripping with diamonds while people were starving in the streets.
But then so I think the beauty of theater is you get to sort of walk in both shoes. You get to walk in the people who were not happy with the Romanov dynasty that was hundreds of years. And then, but you also then begin to see the humanness of the Romanovs, and all done through art. And, you know, to me, that is the beauty of art. And I was talking to somebody today about, yes, we work all the time. We're stressed out. We have a lot of things going on in the world. And what do we turn to? We turn to the arts. We turn to music.
Yes.
We turn to TV. We turn to film. We turn to theater. We listen to podcasts. We look at art. We create ourselves. And so art is the thing that sustains us and helps us get through.
Yes.
And these days, we need art more than ever.
Yeah.
And
and it's the thing that survives your civilization.
Yeah.
Because when we look back at the Greeks and the Romans and the Egyptians, you know, we don't have their newspapers to look back on because that wasn't a thing. But what we do have is all of the carvings and all of the paintings and the frescoes and those kinds of things. Some of them we have to recreate, the sculptures. But that gives us more of a window into who those people were than anything else that survives.
So my responsibility as a director is to do my historic research, and then, but also meet with my designers and talk about how can we present this story, be truthful as much as we can to the history, without me having to go study Russian history for the next 6 months. But how am I going to tell the story, and what's the best way for us to tell it in a fluid and also economical and yet glorious manner? There's so many things to have to think about. So that's what I'm in the middle of right now, even though we're also working on the Jewish house stuff. And right now we're working on a million different things. So
Well, and we've already got an eye towards the 25-26 season. Even though you won't be joining us, we've got to already have that laid out before you depart. Because your successor already needs to walk into a chosen season.
That's right.
And as many different designers and everything as we can have lined up so that you set that person up to succeed.
That is correct. And so I'm excited about, you know, what to plan for next year. And we'll be back in the Bean Brown We hope. I'm sure we will. And I'm excited about that. And I'm excited that Anastasia's probably going to be in there. And so,
yes. Well, speaking of which, we've got carpet. We've got new carpet out in the lobby. Everything is coming together. We can't wait for you guys to see. You're going to be like, I'm walking into a brand new theater.
It's
amazing.
Is glorious.
Yeah, it's going to be glorious. And that's when we're relaunching it, is with Anastasia. Yeah. That'll be your chance to come and see the grand reopening of the Bean Brown Theater.
At least that's the plan. So anyway, so we're in the throes.
On that.
We're in the midst of the Russian Revolution at the turn of the century, 19th, 20th century. That's what I'm working on at the moment. We're excited. We're starting to put it out there that we're looking for every cast member.
Yes.
It's a big show.
Yes.
Lots of roles.
Have you heard there's a rumor in St. Petersburg? That's what we're always fighting, y'all, is these rumors that we have precast a show, that so-and-so has the role. More often than not, it's that actor who started the rumor.
Right.
Don't think that it's me and Tina that have precast it, because we haven't. This show is wide open. Yeah. If we've cast a role, you'll know it because we'll tell you ahead of time. Yeah. Just like we did with Masterclass, saying that Ava Buchanan was going to go ahead and play that role of Maria Callas. We try to be upfront and honest about that.
I'm honestly not feeling confident enough in the show to even have precast it. You know, like I'm in the midst of finding out who she is and who these other characters are. And so, no, we have not. So I hope you're beginning to work on your audition material. But it's a big show and it's exciting, and we're excited about planning it. So we're in the midst of it right now. We're excited that we chose this. I'm excited that it's a big show that I will, say goodbye to the.
I'm going to go down with the show.
We go down with the Romanovs. I'll be going down with the Romanovs.
Oh, no,
but anyway, so it's going to be glorious. And it's everything about it's going to be stunning.
Yes.
So, that's my job anyway, to make sure that we're all on the same page, that we're all going to be looking at the same stunning thing. We're going to do punk rock costumes and a realistic set and all that kind of stuff. So, no.
Ooh, steampunk. We could go steampunk.
No, we're not doing that. Anyway,
I think we're out of coffee. We're out of time. We need to let these folks get on with their lives, but we're so glad that you've been joining us, the tens of people that are listening each week.
Hey, Quinn.
Hey, Nora. So, until next time, I'm Adam.
I'm Tina.
And we're
Brewing Theater.
Cheers.